So the question was, just to make sure everybody heard it, is one, the CU Advocates Program, and two, he wants to talk about sports and being involved in the Pac-12, and what does that mean? So, Bruce.
So I'll tell you, when we started they started rumbling around us, Phil DeStefano and I talked about it. I said, let's just keep our jets cool, we'll wait, see what happens. So then they come back with serious, we want to talk with you. So we said, yeah, okay, we will. Tom Check, our first Nobel laureate, called me up on my cell phone. I was out of state. He said, I got to tell you why you got to join the Pac-12. I said, Tom, I know why I got to join. He said, I'm going to tell you anyway. So he did, as Tom always would. So anyway, we got done with that, and I said, Tom, those are all the reasons, plus a few more that we're going to do it. And his reasonings were, who are research partners? And we talk about this all the time. You look at the Ivy League. That's because there were a bunch of schools back there very similar in doing things. Our research partners are people like Berkeley and USC and UW and on and on. These are the great, really great schools, and they're the ones working with us. And I could go through a lot of things we do together with them. That's important. Now let's talk about where are our alums. In the old Big 12, without Colorado, we had 11,000 alums. In the Pac-12, without Colorado, we have 54,000 alums. Now, a lot of 30,000 of those are in California. Now, these are very successful people. Where do we recruit a lot of our non-resident students? In the Pac-12 footprint. Now, if we're talking about our donors and what they want to do they want to go to Stillwater or to Los Angeles or San Francisco or Washington or Ames, Iowa? Where do you suppose they want to go? So obviously, all of these pieces work together, and you should see the entourage that ends up a lot of these games that are away of our people going out there because they want to go to those cities. So you wrap all of this together, and it's a really important message for people to understand. Now we'll talk a moment about money. So our media dollars that we got when we were in the Big 12 was about $8 million a year. Well, now it's closer to 20 million, and if we ever get direct TV, anybody got connections there? Straightened out, we'll probably get another 3 million. So this is a big deal, and it's a big deal to, football, I hate to tell you, I mean, it's the revenue sport. Basketball is off and on, makes some money, and those guys are doing great. Tad, Linda doing the women's, they're doing a wonderful job, but the revenue sport is football. And so we've got to bring in the right people. That's why we brought in Mike McIntyre. He tells these kids, you're going to the NFL, right? Yeah. No, let me tell you, you're not going. But let me tell you what will happen if you do think you'll make it. And about 3% of you will get into the NFL. And you might last like 3 years. And at the end of that time, you're probably going to be $200,000 in debt. You probably have married the wrong woman and divorced or getting divorced. And by the way, the suicide rate is 8 times the national average. So I don't think that's what you should be thinking about. You ought to be thinking about getting your degree. I expect you to get your degree in 3.5 years because they're here in the summer. And when I interviewed a lot of these recruits, and you got this guy that's about that tall and this big around, what do you want to study? Aeronautical engineering. What's your grade point? 4 point blah blah. These kids are great, smart kids that we're bringing in now. And you don't want to bring in, now we still have troubles occasionally, but you don't want to bring in the troublemakers. I don't want any troublemakers. And I told the AD when I first started, I said, you throw out your best running back. If it's for a good cause, I'm standing up with you. I want quality people in this institution. Then we brought in Rick George, and he had an insignificant little job last go around. He was running the Texas Rangers baseball team. And he also was the head recruiter for CU Boulder when he was here back for our national championship team. And then he went off and ran the PGA. So Phil and I slipped down there. We talked to him over lunch. We got him hired and brought him up. He is outside the box. He works his tail off. He's smart. He's honest. He's got a great family. Only want really people that are solid.